He slammed the door so hard the chandelier shook. That's the kind of man Thomas Whitaker had become, a billionaire so locked in grief and guilt that even the sound of his own daughter laughing felt like betrayal. I didn't know all that when I took the job as his maid. All I knew was they needed help, and I needed a place to heal too. The first time I saw little Alani, she was sketching butterflies with her good hand, the other curled tight and limp against her chest. Her wheelchair was always turned just slightly away from the rest of the room, like she was half here, half somewhere else. And Thomas, he barely looked at her. He'd pass by like she was a shadow. One morning I made her giggle just by dropping a tray of mangoes and pretending they were little rolling monsters. That laugh. It was soft, unsure, like she forgot how to make the sound. But it was a start. That night, I walked past Thomas in the hallway and said, "She still laughs, you know. Your daughter." He didn't stop walking, just muttered, "That's none of your business." But he heard me. I know he did. So I pushed harder. I planned a picnic in the garden under the big guava tree, with meat pies, pineapple slices, and the Zobo drink I saw her eyeing in the fridge. I told Alani to dress in her favorite pink dress tie, her braids neat, and told her to wait. "Wait for what?" she asked. "Wait for your dad," I said. She gave me the sad little shrug. "He won't come. He never comes." I stepped into his study. He was behind his desk, papers everywhere, but not really seeing anything. "Sir," I said, soft but firm. "Alani's outside. The sun's gentle today. She's waiting." "I have work," he grunted. "You've had work every day since she lost her mom," I said, taking a step closer. "But what she needs now isn't a provider. It's her father." He looked up at me finally. There was a storm in his eyes, but he didn't yell, didn't argue. Just stood shoulder stiff like he was walking into a courtroom. He came. When he sat down beside her on the grass, Alani didn't say a word, just held her Zobo glass tight with trembling fingers. So I told stories about burning Jolliffe so bad even the pot gave up, about the taxi man who swore pineapples could cure heartbreak. I made her laugh again, this time louder. And Thomas, he smiled. A real one, just for a second. But joy never lingers too long in a house full of ghosts. "Daddy," she said, voice barely above a whisper. "Do you remember the night Mama—" His smile vanished. He set his glass down hard. "You were stubborn that night," he said, his voice flat. "She was tired and you kept pushing. Now she's gone." The silence hit like a slap. Alani's lip trembled. "I know it's my fault. I couldn't take it anymore." "No," I said, standing. "Alani, look at me. It was an accident. You didn't cause the rain. You didn't drive the car. You were a child asking for ice cream." Thomas turned to me sharp. "You weren't there." "I wasn't," I said. "But I know what grief does. I've buried people too. And I know blame is a poison that doesn't just kill you, it kills the ones you love." He didn't reply. Just looked at Alani, really looked, and saw her little fingers twisted in her lap, her eyes wet, but silent. "I need time," he said, voice raw. "Then take time," I said, "but take it with her. Start small. Sit with her. Let her know you still see her, not the memory." That afternoon ended with no more words, but something had shifted. He didn't run back into the house. He stayed. He watched her eat. He let her laugh. The next day she tried walking. I held her hand. She took one step, then another. Her legs shook, but she whispered, "This is for Mommy." And just as she let out a shaky laugh, the front door creaked. Thomas stood there, tie loose and briefcase dangling from one hand, frozen. You're walking, he said, the words dragging from his throat like they'd been locked there for years. She nodded. For her, and for you. He dropped his bag, his face crumpled, but he didn't cry. Not yet. That night, we laid a mat in the living room. For the first time, he didn't shut himself away in his study. He sat, right there beside her. I didn't say anything, just watched them both breathe easier. Then came the night she walked into his study on her own on crutches. Yes, but still on her own, and said, "Daddy, don't let her leave." He blinked. Who, Auntie Christina? She's not just a maid, she's my almost mommy. And if she leaves, we lose again. He looked at me, panic and something else flickering behind his eyes. She's just a child, he whispered. No, I said she's the only one in this house brave enough to say what we're all feeling. From that day, everything moved fast, like once the dam broke, the river refused to slow. He started sitting next to me at dinner, started walking beside me, not ahead, started noticing the way I hummed when I cooked or how I always wiped the edges of the plates twice. And then one night with Alani grinning like she had a secret, he dropped to one knee. No ring, no speeches, just raw, trembling honesty. You brought life back here, he said. I don't want to go back to silence. I said yes. Not for the fairy tale, not for the title, but because I had fallen in love too, with both of them. You'd think that's where the story ends, but it didn't. Alani, she took over. This is just part one, she told me the night before the wedding. You're going to help Daddy wear nice shirts again, and I'm going to teach you how to dance in socks. I laughed so hard I cried. And now when people ask me how I ended up marrying a billionaire, I tell them this. He wasn't saved by money. He was saved by a little girl who believed her daddy could still love, and a maid who dared to believe she could be more. So tell me, have you ever misjudged someone because of what they wore? Ignored love because it didn't look like what you expected? Drop a comment, because sometimes the people we overlook are the ones who carry the miracle. Let's talk about it.